moment. But first of all, I wanted to say all praises be to the Most High that we have another opportunity to come before Him on His feast, the Feast of Tabernacles. And we're going to read out of the law that we dwelled in booths for a week to remember our time in the wilderness. The Most High wanted to continually remind us of how He protected us and fulfilled His promise in giving us a holy land and giving us a place of our own after being citizens of Egypt for over 200 years. So the Feast of Tabernacles was a year-to-year reminder of that protection in the wilderness so that we could not forget where we came from, how the Most High protected us and continue to protect us. I wanted to real quick talk about something real quick because I noticed, and this ain't no long lesson. As a matter of fact, we're going straight into the food in a couple of seconds. All right, so let me make this clear. But it's a feast of the Most High, remembrance of that. And I was thinking, what message should be relayed for us to go forward, for self-reflection, and so that we can be better for the Most High in preparing ourselves without being long and drawn out. I think it can be a lesson within itself. And what I was thinking, especially going into the day of the memorial blowing of the trumpets, the Day of Atonement, the Feast of Tabernacles, it's sort of like the Most High has given us an opportunity for cleansing. You understand, for a change, for going in, because we already know that these particular, the memorial blowing of the trumpets is the beginning of festivals, right? So it's like a cleansing, a time of reflection. So the atonement time in the 7th month was a new beginning. 7 is completion. The 7th month. And I was thinking, what is the biggest holdback that we have as a people personally that would stop us? And when I say as a people, spiritual people, people that are looking to serve the Most High. What is our biggest drawback? And because we had a constant reminder of right and wrong in the Old Testament to keep us balanced, to keep us continually reflecting on ourselves, because we weighed ourselves with the law in the Old Testament. So we had a constant reminder to weigh ourselves. And I noticed that us being born in grace, there's no barometer within the law that keeps us straight. Like, we knew in the Old Testament that if we killed, there was a penalty. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. We knew if we lied, stole, bear false witness, commit adultery, whatever the sin was, we knew that there was an immediate judgment for it. It kept us a certain balance within ourselves, knowing there's immediate judgment. Right? Okay, it's fine. Now, I'm going to fix that. Oh, it's good. Yeah. Now, the Most High give us that barometer through grace now. But He constantly reminds us of where we're going wrong and what we should do to better ourselves all the time. But instead of it being done through the penalty of death, because sacrifices have covered that, and the penalty of something immediately happening to you, He does it in a way in which the Most High allow others to speak to you and talk to you, to let you know what they're viewing. That's how He does it. But we're set up in a world today that if we are corrected, or if someone tells us something honest that they see concerning us, we are immediately offended. So with this politically correct system we're in, it made it, there's a mechanism within it where when people are being corrected, they feel they're being attacked. That's a demon. That's a demon. Because no one is able to see ourselves the way we should be viewed. It's others the Most High placed in the body to view on the outside of you. Us. That can say, well, listen, okay, I tell you how nice you are and how great you are all the time, but this is an issue. You understand? And it should be a point where someone can honestly tell you about yourself and you don't get offended, knowing that in old time we did wrong, and it was you'd rather someone tell you about yourself than death comes, then the judgment be you lose a hand or you have to work 7 years under a family to reimburse them for what you've done. So the Most High have actually given us liberty in a way in which we can correct ourselves if we can receive it. Another shortcoming that I see, especially with the children of Israel, and it's a serious shortcoming outside of offenses, is that we live, now listen to me clearly, and I've noticed this, we live and perpetuate our lives within fear. Now let me show you how Satan places us in the spirit of fear. We know that we have to do certain things to achieve in our life or to make ourselves better. We understand that. And we'll sit and do nothing. And make excuses for why we can't achieve something that we know in our mind we must correct, starting with ourselves. We'll sit and make excuses for it. We know the shortcomings in our areas and what we must correct. And we totally ignore it. Or just say, well, I'll do it tomorrow. Or, don't tell me about it. I know I'm this way. And I'll be offended if you tell me this. And wonder why you can only go but so far. Spiritually. And in this life. This is why I think there's a curse that was placed on us so that we can keep ourselves in this condition. But when we get the knowledge of the truth, the curse is broken. There's no longer an excuse for why we are, and I'm going to say it, failures. Why we fail in certain things. We shouldn't fail. And it first starts with correcting ourselves. And I'm not speaking of from the world's angle. There's things that we know that we want to do to better ourselves for the Most High. And we stay in the same place. And fail when there's no excuse. So what I want to mention here is that we should take this time, brothers and sisters, and say, you know what? I'm going to look at the things that I know I have a shortcoming on within myself, and I know it's there, and I'm going to fix it now. I'm not going to make no excuses for why I'm not doing the things I know I can do for myself, to better myself, to be a better person for the Most High. I'm not going to make no excuses no more. I'm going to see a progression from now until the next Feast of Tabernacles. I'm going to see a growth in myself. And I'm not just going to stand still and stand pat with excuses for why I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. We have to set these goals for ourselves so that we can become better vessels and get closer. And as the time draws near, we know that we're growing and we're progressing, and we're not taking what the Most High have given us for granted. That we're not just taking all this knowledge and understanding and tucking it somewhere and thinking that it's going to be an epiphany and the light going to come on and all of a sudden you're going to be changed. It don't work that way. You have to set goals and say, Here's all the things that are stopping me. Here's all the things that are stopping me from progressing. Okay? Everything. And it goes in your outward appearance. It goes in the way you interact with people. It goes into every aspect and angle of your life. You understand? So we should be looking at these time periods and these holy days as parameters to chart our own spiritual progress. Where was I last year and where am I now? Are you following me? And when someone comes to you in the spirit of love and the spirit of humility and say, you know what? I'm seeing this and, I don't know if you notice it. I'm not attacking you here. But maybe you don't notice it. Maybe we have lived and perpetuated our lives in a certain space, in a certain place. You have to realize where we come from. All of us come from Nazareth. When I say Nazareth, Nazareth was the lowest part of Israel. That's where Christ came from. And we all came up with bad behavior and bad patterns. You understand? That kept us in a generational rut. We have to admit that's where we come from. And it's not condescending and looking down from where we come from. It's actually realizing that's a part of our makeup. And some of that is not good. That's why some of us never progress. It's a mentality that's taught. They may call it ghetto thug or whatever they might call it. But it stops us. It's a ceiling that keeps everyone low and the powers that be ruling over us. We must get out of that mentality. And we have to admit it's still present because it was a part of our being. Some people go all their life and that's all they know. That's their reality. But it's a curse. See? So if there's something wrong, we don't sit back and lay in that wrong. And when someone show you and try to help you through it, you don't want to hear it because you are offended. Can't be that way. See? The strong supposed to bear the infirmity of the weak, which the strong see it. They have to go there and say, listen, I'm not going to just say it and condescend on you with this. I'm going to help you out of this. We're going to do this together. That's an error there, and you can fix it, but let me help you with it too. I'm not saying it to knock you down. I'm saying it so that I can help you with it too. Right? So this politically correctness stuff that they've been programming people with is satanic. It's making it where no one can tell anyone like it is and be truthful about it to help correct our brothers and sisters. It's all garbage. It's rubbish, okay, for you English people. It's rubbish. We have to get out of this thing where when our brothers and sisters are coming to you and saying, listen, this is what we see. Help us with this. Do this. Help yourself with it. That you don't look at it like, oh, what about you? Yeah, I got problems, but that's the first thing we try to do is reflect and say, well, you do the same thing. Okay, I do the same thing, but you're doing it. So are you going to correct that? I mean, you understand? Okay, and then after you accept the fact that you're doing it and you're going to correct it, now you can come tell me, well, you're doing it, and I'm going to correct it. See? In the spirit of meekness. And another thing, brothers and sisters, as we come closer to the end, we must be slow to anger. The scriptures tell you we must be slow to anger. That means when these spirits, and they're being released in the earth, when they begin to run rampant, the first thing they're going to do is attack and make people impatient. They're going to do all types of things to get you out of your spiritual character. You have to be slow to anger. You have to look at the person or look at the person you're dealing with and understand, okay, that person I love, but there's something in that person. And I'm not going to destroy that person because of the spirit that's trying to use them. to attack me because I still love that person. We have to be slow to anger and not react with anger when something is when we feel we are offended or something is being done to us. Right? So I'm putting this out there, and I'm not saying to accept anyone doing or saying what they want to say to you. That's not the point. Anyone that's offending and doing things that's wrong, according to what the Most High say is wrong, they're not going to get away. So what I'm saying is, this ain't you being lax or quote unquote being chumped. You understand? This is actually being in the spirit of humility to receive correction. Because if we can't correct each other, then where's the correction? If we can't talk to each other and say, because we can tell each other when everything is good, right? So what I'm saying is, and this is what I'm doing too. You can reflect and write it down within yourself. These are the things that I know I have a shortcoming on. Bang, 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 and write it out to yourself and say, okay, these things. Here's my shortcomings. All right? These are the things that I know that I live with, that I want to correct. Just write it out. And look at it. Like, okay. And then make a schedule. Make a schedule for your day, starting forward, to make sure you accomplish those things. And you're going to find the same way we were programmed to stay in a slave mentality or a ghetto mentality, you will reprogram yourself. And you will find yourself with a pattern. And then you're going to see less of what you used to do. And not only that, you're going to succeed in the things that the Most High needs you to do in this earth. So don't forget, our condition was programmed in us. It became a pattern. And then we witnessed the society around us, and it was the same way, and we thought that was normal. You understand? We didn't know that we were raised in a generational curse that was abnormal. So us being the bottom of the barrel, being low objectives, and all that was generational. It was a program that we thought was normal. While the nations are looking at us and seeing how abnormal it is. You understand? But we were living in this. That's the only condition we understood. So now we get the truth and realize, and our mind and spirit began to expand. We starting to see how much of a curse we were. Not being condescending, but recognizing, hey, that was me. That's us. So we have to overcome that. That's the only way we break, or we still live in the curse. We have to break the mentality that came with captivity. It only comes through what? Training, obedience, discipline. Why do you think as soon as we go to certain schools or go to the army and go to whatever institution they put us in, the first thing they do is what? Reprogram us. You can't work for their corporations. You can't go high up in their school until they get a certain element out of you. Out of us. They understand it. Right? Now, of course, they got scientific and educational terms for noticing who needs more help than others. So they call it an IQ scale. What's your IQ? Or your class scale. But all in all, the bottom line, the scriptures tell you, either you're cursed or you're not. That's what it is. Either you're living under the curse or you're not. Either you're cursed or not. That's the barometer according to the scriptures. And there's a certain mentality that comes with a curse. Now that we have the truth, we can't use the curse as an excuse. Right? The perpetual generational thing that kept us down and not being able to achieve a certain level, it should be gone, right? Because we understand we're Israel. We understand who our God is. We know his name. We understand his son. We understand how the heavenly operations, according to the scriptures, function. We understand how to link to our help, right? Right? So if something that we want to do and it's not getting done, whose fault is that? Whose fault? It's our fault. Read that real quick.
We're in the book of St. Matthew, chapter 8, verse 7.
Come on. We just want to talk about the spirit of offenses. Because there's a difference between offending someone and correcting someone. We, under this politically correct system, we must know the difference. When someone is giving you critical, what you would call advice, they're not offending you. They're helping you. And now Satan has made it where if somebody try to help you, you get mad at them. How dare he or she say something like they holding their head up high, like they bigger than, like they better than me. Don't even realize that you're keeping yourself in that mentality. You're keeping yourself from growing past your constructive criticism. Right? Who you think he is? Who she think she is? Right? Or he always telling people what to do. She got problems too. But when the Most High is speaking, when two or more gather, he's in the midst. When the Most High is speaking and correcting us through other people, that be the Most High. We have to move the person out of the way and listen to what's being said and see if it applies. See if it applies first, instead of getting defensive. And say, you know what? Thank you, brother or sister. Thank you. Because how many people have seen this and they didn't tell me nothing. You love me enough to talk to me about this because you want me to overcome this. Once you go past that level, you see differently, and that's a whole nother level now. You'll progress. That's one level out of captivity. Right? And I'm going to tell you, and I recognize it because I deal with it myself. A lot of what our shortcomings are is the curse of our fathers. The curse of the family that we learned certain bad behavior from our families. From our father and mother. Even how great and loving they were under the curse too. And they didn't have the truth. They didn't have what we have. They did the best they can. But they were under a curse, and we learned bad behavior. That's the reality. I sat back and reflected on it, and I was thinking about it. Even when Elder Zah was helping me with certain things today, I was thinking about it in my mind. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to talk about this. Because these are the things I go through. And I look at the struggle that Paul was talking about. He was struggling with what he grew up with and what he was and what the Most High chose him to be. There was a battle in the flesh. You should always be able to separate yourself in the spirit from what we were trained to be. You understand? And know that that's a struggle. So others, it's the church, it's brothers and sisters that have to help us with these things. See? And not be offended when someone comes with constructive criticism. Read.
This is St. Matthew chapter 18. I'll start at verse 6.
Come on.
I said 8.
It's 18, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
St. Matthew chapter 18, verse 6.
Yes.
For whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he was drowned in the depth of the sea.
Now, why does it say that? And I'm putting this out there because if it's someone really is offending people and hurting people, are they getting away with it? No. So you shouldn't be offended when someone's trying to correct you. And I want to deal with it from that concept. Because if anyone is going around being offensive and all that, guess who's going to take care of it? The Most High. He says, if you offend one of these little ones, you going around messing around purposely and hurting these little ones, which are my flock, I'm going to take that up. That's what Christ said. I'm going to take that up. So now, listen, can I do more to someone than the Most High? Vengeance is the Most High. So I'm not going to feel someone's offending me. If they come to me with some constructive criticism, I'm like, all right, thank you. As long as it's done in the spirit of meekness. Like the scriptures say. If you see someone overtaken in a fault, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Now if you come with, yeah, and with your chest up, and you can't be cursing people out and all that. No, I'm not listening to that. But if you come in the spirit of the Most High, I must receive that. Right? Read it.
Verse 7, woe unto the world because of offenses.
The Bible says, woe unto the world because what?
Of offenses.
Of offenses. Why it says woe and destruction to the world? Because this world was taught to offend people. The whole world is one big offense. Read.
For it must needs be that offenses come.
He says it's needful that offenses will come. Read.
But woe to that man by whom the offense cometh.
Read.
Wherefore if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off and cast them from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life halt or maim, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into everlasting fire.
Now it's going into the acts of the flesh that leads to offense. It's rather you cut something off than offend with it. Okay? If somebody's stealing all the time and they just got a spirit of stealing, it's better their hand, they didn't even have a hand. So it's better to stop what you're doing than to continue to do it, which lead to hellfire. That's what it's talking about. And when it talks about offense, it's speaking of all different types of offenses through the flesh. So there will be offenses. The Most High is going to take care of them. So I want to show the difference between an offense and what? And critical correction. These two things are two separate scenarios. An offense is someone purposely doing something to you. So we have to redefine what an offense is. Someone telling you the truth and talking to you in love is not an offense. We've been taught that through our political correct system. An offense is something that people are doing to you purposely and trying to hurt you, that the Most High is going to deal with if they operate like this. You see the difference between the two? What else you have real quick? And then we're going to read out the law, and then the Feast of Tabernacle eating. Yes, Lord. I got some barbecue chicken too. Talk to me.
Just 2 quick scriptures. First in Proverbs 9 and 7.
Yes.
It says, he that reproveth, oh, wait, I'm going to get.
Yes.
It says, he that reproveth a scorner getteth to himself shame, and he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth himself a blot. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee.
See that? A wise man that you rebuke will love you even more. But people that won't get corrected, they will hate you for rebuke or correction. They'd be like, I don't want to be around this person. They're supposed to hate you because there's correction in your presence. But a wise man would be like, man, thank you. I just went to the next level there. I see that. I'm on the next level out of slavery, out of spiritual bondage. Thank you. I just took another level here. I see that. I'm going to correct that. I'm going to put that behind me. Done. Now I'm at the next level now. Or I can just stay in a rut where I am, talking about nobody can tell me anything. A walking curse, living amongst curses, and just sitting there amongst just a horde of curses around you. Yeah, you can't tell me. And then you wonder why nothing, the works of your hands, nothing is prospered. That's everybody else's fault too. That's everybody's fault why you just in rut land. Yeah. It's a curse. Go on.
Verse 9.
Come on.
Give instruction to a wise man,
Give instruction to a wise man,
and he will yet be wiser.
and he will become wiser.
Teach a just man,
Teach a just man,
and he will increase in learning.
and he will increase in learning. And understanding that this life is for the experience and to grow. See, you can learn every day if you would like to. When I'm talking about learning, I'm talking about of heavenly conversation, of higher understanding. Go on.
One last one. Proverbs 27:5.
Yes.
Open rebuke is better than secret love.
Open rebuke is better than secret love. Like, for instance, if there's someone giving you some critical advice, right? This is how you know when it's not setting in. When someone giving you some constructive advice that they see, that can and actually see the end of what can happen if you listen, and you come with an excuse to why you're operating like that. You understand? You say, well, this is why I'm in the rut. This is why I'm not achieving things. This is why. And you come with an excuse to it. You know that, okay, I got to come back in 2 more weeks and test this again. I got to come back in a couple of weeks. This person ain't going to get it. They're not getting it. But it's okay. Everyone's seeing their own time. But they will be there when we talk about this again. And that's a curse, brothers and sisters, and I see it. I've seen it. And if we, with all the gifts we have as a people, if we didn't have these built-in excuses, we would probably be out of here by now. We stop ourselves. We are our own enemy. Right? So when someone comes to you, anybody, in the spirit of love and correction, understand that it's the Most High and receive it as a person of wisdom so that now you can advance spiritually and not keep dealing with the same old man from year to year and never advancing. And show and not, then you're going to continue. You don't want to continue to not show progress. Obviously, if you had the answer to it, you wouldn't be in this scenario. So when the Most High sent others to help you out, listen. And that's vice versa. Right? You good, lawyer? All right. Like Allah was absent. Our lodges went on a sabbatical. They went to make Hajj, and they still counting the bodies. People rushing to that rock, trying to get to that rock over there in Mecca. The last we counted was 700. 7 month.
Yeah.
Here it is, right on time. 7th month, Day of Atonement. 700 dead, trampled under the rock. Yeah, trampling, trying to touch the rock.
Yeah, separate.
Oh yeah, it's a different. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't see it in the Middle East. They be running down the street with bulls and all that. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, you can be in your car trying to just think, okay, let me go get me a sandwich or something, and you see some kids running around with machetes, and the bull is running down the street like, okay, this is very interesting. But anyway, the bulls, I heard they got their vengeance. I heard the bulls got together and trampled how many? What's the number on that? 300 people were trampled by bulls. These are all sacrifices to Baal and Satan. And here it is. I need someone from Islam to give me an understanding on why do Allah want people to get trampled, making Hajj to the rock. Why do Allah want this? So I mean, if Azariah is out there, I need a Muslim on the radio show this Wednesday. We need to really get an imam, get somebody of high regard. We're going to talk to them and ask them, what did Allah feel about what just happened there? Okay, get that Allah information out there. And the rock. That's deep. And see, but I think the Most High is making a public mockery of these religions right now on purpose. Because it's not just going to be our people turning to the Most High when these spirits are released, and that 5 months of torment during that time of famine come on this earth. A lot of Muslims are going to know that Islam isn't the way either. And while that's going on, you got Satan's first cousin, the Pope. He's in Philadelphia. He's roaming and floating around. You know what I mean? Come to find out, this guy was a high Jesuit in the Jesuit order of the Catholic Church. If anyone know about the Jesuits, they're the high sorcerers on earth outside of the synagogue of Satan over there in Israel. They're behind all the false doctrine that's being taught through Christianity. So at the same time this is all going out, people are getting trampled over in Islam. Right? You have this guy kissing a baby. This baby couldn't be no more than 5, 6 years old. Did you see that, lawyer?
I didn't catch that.
And the guy that was holding up the kid, the child, the girl, and it's embarrassing to even say it, where his hand was on this child that was mincing while they was putting the baby up to the Pope to kiss the Pope. Yeah. They was molesting this child before millions and laughing. The guy laughing, holding up the child with his hands in all types of uncomfortable positions for this kid, this little girl. And look at the little girl's face while the Pope is looking to kiss the child. Bringing out pedophilia before the public. And anyone could see it. So here it is, they're messing with the children, killing the children. This is Christianity, the father of Christianity. The father of Christianity. Doing this. So you got people being trampled in Islam. They showing straight pedophilia and witchcraft and sorcery. And you have the Pope talking about bringing in the New World Order and accepting homosexuality and all these things within society as mainstay. So now they're looking, the same thing Albert Pike said that they would do. They're looking to now abolish all religion on earth. That's why they are doing this on purpose and allowing these spirits to run rampant to discredit all the main religions, because the new religion, the New Age religion, is accepting Satan, Lucifer, as the God that was behind both religions the whole time. That's where we are. So, hey. Been on that 364-day clock, how it seems as when we're there, when that season change, it immediately shows the change. Y'all see that? Right on time. It's like the Most High showed us that the 364, 52 weeks is right on point. Mm-hmm. And when we did that equal parts night and day, every season been right on point ever since. And I know some people were looking at it, well, if we do it this way, aren't we going to go into the winter if we do it this way? No. Because we've been seasoned, we're dealing with the season. We ain't dealing with what their calendars are talking about. And that's why the scriptures tell you that they're not going to know the times, and the season's going to be out of course because their time is out of course. The seasons do the same thing every year. 364 days. The reason why things are out of season is because the Gentiles are out of time. They're not in the 364-day cycle. And every few years, they look to resolve that by saying, okay, it's leap year, or let's do this, or let's add this. Every some like years and decades, they have to come through and try to correct the fact that they haven't been following 364 days in a year. We don't have to do that. We're right on point. We're right on schedule. All praises be to the Most High, Ahaya Bashim Yeshaya.